Hi everyone again. Well, you know what? It's another interesting day here. It's beautiful sunshine outside, and lots of wonderful things happened today. And as I was walking home again today, I had another brainwave. And I suppose I'm not sure what it is really. I have this sense of urgency to try and get information out that is really going to define and help others to not escalate their union, but to escalate their own self, their own being, to escalate, to rapidly get themselves into a position of oneness. I'm not a member of many social media groups. I was over a year ago, and I found things that I didn't like. So I moved away. And recently I've become active in a couple of new groups where I can see a lot of help is needed on really getting back to the basics of this journey. And I share this information from a position of love, from a position of experience, from a position of knowing and a position of understanding. And I want to share this wisdom with you. This is something that I have gone through myself and continue to do so every day. But it's also something that I share with others who have also evolved, grown, and we're basically at the same place on our journey. And I think it all, what I also what I also need to say is that there are a lot of confused people. There's no point me holding back my words because it's truth, it's what I see, it's what I sense. There are a lot of people that have experienced a very powerful connection with somebody and have gone searching for information and have come across the terminology twin flames. And they've gone down this path of looking at twin flames and said, this is me, 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 so this, therefore I must be this. And at some point, you have to really ask yourself the question, A, am I a twin flame? B, have I met my twin flame? Or C, is there something else that needs to be resolved within myself to clarify this question or these questions? And my journey into self-discovery started after a whole level of crises within my own life. And this involved a complete upheaval in the way I lived, where I was living, who I was living with, where my children were, and who I was working with, what I was doing in my life. Within the space of 3 weeks, my life was transformed into, I can safely say, a pile of rubble. Zero. My children had left, 2 of my children had left to go to Australia with their mother. I was living in a different city, in a different country, and my eldest daughter asked me to take care of her so she could finish her school. So I was, being a father, agreed. So I was compelled to move my home. And at the same time, my then fiance and her son returned back to their home. And to compound everything, my eldest daughter, once we moved, was admitted to hospital and was in hospital for 10 days. That was the beginning of a transformation. I also lost my business within a month of this whole series of events happening. So I, as a then 48-year-old person, was confronted with a whole pile of things that needed to be done. And throughout my life, I have gone through similar situations, particularly going through a divorce, a separation, growing up as a child, growing up as a teenager. These key times have led me to understanding that there's something more about my life that I need to do. There's something more about me as an individual that I need to be doing. And where I started my journey, because I had gone into past life regressions 25 years ago, because I believed that there was a solution there for repetitive behavior. I've gone through psychological counseling, I've gone to marriage guidance, I've gone through all these processes of trying to get to who I am. And I've gone through the traditional and the non-traditional methods of getting to know me as an individual. And that's based upon my own traumatic experience as a child through to a teenager. I was beaten black and blue by the people that were my parents, that are my parents, as was my sister. We were subjected to extreme levels of violence, punishment. You could say that we had the love beaten out of us. But I look at my characteristics as a child and continue through my life and say, how is this possible that I still had this love inside of me? So what I believe most twins have gone through in their lives are within dysfunctional families. They've been subjected to abuse, psychologically, physically, mentally, in any form of abuse, dysfunctional family background. Or they live in a strong religious community, or they live within a let's say a peer structured environment. On the opposite side to that, they've either been they've been spoiled as a child. They've had, let's say, too much love, too much of this, too much of that. There are extremes. But where do you start? And where I started is where I left off, by going to somebody that I trusted as a psychotherapist. But what I decided at the time of it, when all of these troubles began, when all of these issues began, was I looked in the mirror and said, what the fuck is going on? Why are you, as a loving man, as a loving father, always ending up in a situation where everything disappears, where everything that you've worked for, that you believed in, that you love and care for, disappears from your life? Now let's get to the bottom of this. And this was the beginning of a massive change in me. So I believe, first and foremost, the mind is the controller of us. The mind controls our body functions. The mind controls our actions. The mind controls what we do and how we interact, and how we act, how we react, how we respond. So one of the things that I did from the very beginning was actually going to psychotherapy. And I spent my time 4 hours each week with 2 different psychologists, a male psychologist and a female psychologist, from 2 different countries, from 2 different perspectives, from 2 different generations. And I was working on myself. And we recognized then the trauma was coming from my childhood. So we dealt with that trauma. Then other traumas came up. Then other life experiences came up. In the end, we processed all of this information. And we got to the end of 6 months of therapy, intense therapy. Because it wasn't just with psychotherapists, it was within myself. I was reading books, I was doing self-help, I was working 40 hours a week on myself. I was looking after my eldest daughter, I was working what little that I could do, but I was invested in me. And I was on the floor in balls of tears and crying. My daughter was worried about me, what the hell was going on. And I got through it. But at the end of that, I asked both of these psychologists, why is it that I still feel what I feel for this one person? Or this two persons? I've gone through all of this trauma. I've processed it, I've analyzed it, I've worked through it, forgiven, cognitive thinking, all of these things, but I still have these feelings inside of me. And they're not an obsession, because there's a very fine line between obsession and spirituality and reality. And they both basically said, this is love. This is true love. You've been, I was going to say, touched by the hand of God, and you've experienced love. And this is what you've experienced, and this is what you take from it. Okay. After this 6 months of psychology, I was reminded of past life regressions that I had done 25 years ago. They came back into my mind. And yes, I was stoned one night after a birthday party, and I remember the day, the date. I got stoned, I got a piece of paper out, and I just wrote down a series of questions from this past life memories that I had through the regression. They came back to me, and I asked myself a question: did these two bloodlines cross in this lifetime, in any lifetime? And Google is a wonderful thing, and Google gave me a wonderful answer. And I had to think about that answer and say, is this possible? Is it actually possible? And yes, it is possible. It is possible that this past life was involved with this other person's life at that time. And from that question, I discovered the terminology twin flames. After researching twin flames, on the surface, the information started to come to me that I needed to know. I then went into social media groups and was asking some questions, but I felt I spent a lot of my time helping and guiding others. I didn't know anything about twin flames. In the end, I had two sessions with a well-renowned twin flame expert who gave me some tools to help me to get to help me to get on my journey, because I didn't want to spend money on somebody guiding me. I saved that money and invested that time and effort in myself, because they gave me the basic tools. And for that, I'm grateful. But this is where I see a lot of similarities today, that the twin flame label is now as popular as Doreen Virtue. Everyone's a twin flame, according to Google searches and Google this. Everyone believes they're a twin flame. Everyone believes that there's a hierarchy because of the different flames, the different whatever. We are what we are. It doesn't matter what ray we are. What matters is who we are. We are all, every single human being on this planet, we are all equal. Elitism doesn't exist. Elitism only exists in an ego environment. Nobody's superior to another, nobody's underneath another. And this is one of the most important things that everyone needs to understand in today's society. We are all equal. And we should treat each other in an equal way. This is the first thing that you need to understand. As you go along your twin flame journey, you will be drawn to share information, to open up and Be vulnerable, but be careful what you do, and be careful who you share that information with, because there are plenty of characters out there that are just not pleasant, that will take advantage of that information and capitalize on it. That's the truth. You that are sharing personal information, sharing messages that you've sent to your beloved, sharing poems and all of this other stuff, this is, who are you sharing that with? You've diluted the very purpose of the message that you have sent or have given to your beloved. You've diluted it. So you've given away your power. You've given away your energy into an environment that is unknown. Sharing personal and intimate details is something that we shouldn't be doing. Mentioning names in a public environment is something that we shouldn't be doing. It's not because of fear. This is out of respect, not only for ourselves or our beloved, but also for the divine union, the sacredness of this journey. Anyway, I think I've gone off on a tangent here, but let me get back to the point of this whole video. Simplicity. Keep things simple. When you discover and that you're in a relationship or have been in a relationship with someone that has caused you to believe what you believe today, first and foremost, look back through your life and look at how you've lived your life. Are there repetitive patterns? Is there something that you knew from a very young age, or from a very young age, that leads you to the point where you are today? There are certain things in my childhood that I've remembered in the last 2 or 3 years that make sense. And this is one of the important things in this process. You need to look backwards. You need to open up all of those doors. You need to go into all of those dark corners of your life that you have suppressed since you were born, and open them and process them and release them. Once you've released that, others will come through from your subconscious mind. Your suppression is no longer there. They will come up, and you will go through the equivalent of a psychological dark night of the soul. You need to clear your psyche as a primary starting point. There are not many that mention this in any of their teachings. This is a fundamental practice that everyone needs to go through, whether they're on a spiritual path or not, whether they're a twin flame or not. Our mind is the controlling essence of our human body. If that is full of crap, and we're carrying that crap, we can only be in crap. So we need to deal with the psyche, the mind. As in my case, once I dealt with the psyche, then came the spirituality. So it's a double whammy. If you're avoiding one of these two, spiritual awakening, you will have a psychological dark night of the soul. If you've completed that, then you will have a spiritual dark night of the soul. So it's a double whammy. And I don't hear many mentioning that either. One leads to the other. And this is where I believe throughout my life I've actually stopped. I've dealt with the psyche, got myself to a good place, and proceeded with my life, failing to see the spiritual aspects that I needed to see. But these were certainly brought to the forefront of my mind. Bang, bang. And for 12 months, I can say that I was in a psychological and spiritual dark night of the soul. So these are two things that you should expect. And you should do them alone. You need to be in solitude. If you are at all able to do this work in solitude, do it in solitude. You need to get to know who you are. You can only get to know who you are by being with yourself, because you are your own nemesis. You are your own worst enemy, and you are your own gallant knight. You are your own god or goddess. You need to take this time for yourself to look at all of these inner elements of you that need to be dealt with, processed, healed, released. And as this dark night of the soul goes through, you will again be on the floor bawling your eyes out. You will be again wondering what the hell is going on in your life. You will be saying, I'm going fucking crazy, I'm mental, what's going on, what's happening. Keep a journal. Keep a journal entry of every day that you can. Keep a note of your dreams, because your dreams are from your subconscious mind being released into your conscious mind, and in the end released for healing. Continue to work on yourself. Meditation, going into nature. Meditation is not about sitting down listening or laying down listening to music. You can meditate whilst driving a car. It's your state of mind, being in the here and now. You're not thinking, you're just feeling, and you're sensing, and you're absorbing. Go and stand by a river every day. Go and stand by a stream. Whatever it is, do that. Invest that time in yourself. Don't spend too many hours of a day sharing what you're going through with others. Work through it yourself. Empower yourself to go through this work. You're feeling like shit? Okay, I'm going to send a message to a friend. I'm feeling like shit. You're sharing that with another person. If you're in a social media group and you say, today I'm feeling like shit, that energy is going out to that group. That energy is going out to the universe, and that just manifests more. So the idea is to process it yourself with the love that you are inside of you. With the energy, you muster all of the energy and you push away these thoughts of doubt, of fear, questioning. And I know I'm talking and it sounds like it's very easy. You can change your mindset very, very easily. It's like cutting off a cord. But it takes time for you to adjust to this. And it takes time for you to be able to practice it, and practice it on a daily basis. There's only one person that knows if you are a twin flame, and that's yourself. If you keep spending money on going out to psychics or mediums or tarot card readers or astrologers, you're going outside of yourself for an answer that's within. If you already know, you've had it confirmed by whatever shape, means or form that you are a twin, why would you continue to doubt that? The idea is not to. Believe in yourself. And no disrespect, 60% of the audience that watch my videos are from America. What are you searching for? Have you really experienced the twin flame connection? This is one thing I will ask you. And I ask you that sincerely. This is a question that you have to answer yourself. Because the USA has the most number of psychics, clairvoyants, and twin flame counselors in the whole world. And there's a lot of disinformation and misinformation. It's a big business. It's a multi-billion-dollar business in the United States. So you have to ask yourself the question, am I real? And this is why I say to you to go through the psychological stuff first. Go through that crap. It will make you a better person anyway. It will give you a detailed understanding of who you are. When you finish your psychotherapy, whatever, you will know yourself, what you feel inside. And if you still feel it, then ask the question. of yourself. The other thing that I see is lots of wanting to help your twin to heal because you believe you're a twin flame or you are a twin flame. There is nothing that we can do to help them heal quicker, except by healing ourselves. You are not in a position to be able to tell your twin that, hey, you're a twin flame, I know this, you're my twin flame, I'm going to help you heal, I want to help you heal, I'm here for you, etc., etc. This does not work. And there are two reasons for that. The first thing is, it's very subjective. They know what's best for them the same as you know what's best for you. If you're separated, you don't know what's best for them because you're separated. Even when you're together, you don't know what's best for them. Only we know what's best for ourselves. So it's subjective. When an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend says something, I can help you with this, they interpret it in a different way. It's psychology, basic psychology. If they're not awake, they're not awake. If they're halfway through the awakening process, they're halfway through the awakening process. We cannot force information on them. I've mentioned it once and left it at that. But those that keep sending information about it, it doesn't work. You're still going externally to convince them that they are, which means you're still trying to convince yourself that you are. They are you and you are them. And you should never forget that. They are always, always with you. Your guides and your ancestors and your loved ones are always around you. These are the things that you need to believe in. Your whole perspective on life is going to change. Your whole belief structure is going to change. What you believe today is not going to be the same as what you believe in 6 months' time or 12 months' time. Believe me, it's not. You need to be open to learning, to receiving information. You need to be open to process this information. You need to be open to implementing the use of that information to make a significant difference to your life and well-being. And there's one thing you will also need to learn is that you can't and you won't have the same friends that you have today in 6 months' time. You will be cutting people out or people will be leaving your circle. Your life is going to change. It's going to change every day, in every way. But it's going to be getting better and better. And you have to be willing to leave behind everything that you know, everybody that you know, and everything that you've ever learned. Because what we are going into is the new. We are creating a new future for this planet in the way of love. We are shattering belief patterns, family patterns, societal patterns, education patterns. We're destroying everything that has been created as a belief system and a societal system on this planet. This is what we're here for as twin flames. We're here to shatter all of the illusions that man has created. That applies politically also. And we can see this happening around the world in geopolitical terms of various countries going back in time to reclaim their independence, like Great Britain, for example. It's bucking the system because it wants its own system back. We're going backwards to be able to advance. And as I said in my video yesterday, man is forgetting that history is repeating itself. Twin flames are here to prevent history repeating itself and creating a new way going forward for humanity. Our role, our mission is to promote love, to share love and to spread love in a way that we see fit in our families, amongst our friends, in society. This is our mission. Nothing more, nothing less. How we do that is another thing. By just being amongst a group of individuals sharing that love, that love is amplified and goes further and further and further. This journey is something extraordinary. It's something physically painful, psychologically painful. It's painful for those that are around you. And it's painful for those that are affected by what you do. And I use the word painful as just a word. It's a long journey, and the journey will never end because we are constantly learning and healing and processing information. Receiving new to share, to receive new. It's just a transfer of information. We're conduits of the divine. It doesn't matter how many twin flames are supposed to be. It doesn't matter what ray they are, because there's no hierarchy. It doesn't matter what our beloveds are doing. It matters what we are doing. That's the most important part of this. So we need to understand who we are, from where we have come, not only in this lifetime, but in previous timelines. I encourage twins or anybody to experience past life regression, but please choose your regressionist carefully. Understand where you have come from through past life regression. You'll see the repeating patterns in this current lifetime. It's up to you to change that, to break it. We're here to break all of those things. We're here to heal and to break all of those things. I have created my own family tree. I made this choice 25 years ago. I cut my whole family out of my life, except two people. My grandmother and my auntie. I have not spoken to my parents in 25 years, and I will not do that again. I've forgiven them, but I have lived and will continue to live my own life, the life that I've created for myself. I've not always been truthful. I've not always been a good boy. I've paid the price for everything that I've done, in a physical way and in a statutory way. And I'm not afraid of that, because I know who I am, and I've always known the core of me is something very special. I know meeting my beloved is an amazing blessing. Her leaving my life on a physical level was another blessing. And one thing is, please never abuse or cuss or talk negative about your twin, about your beloved, because what they're doing is what you're doing. They're doing you a favor. They're waking you up. Love will always find a way to bring you back together. This I strongly believe. And no matter the age difference or the geographical difference between you and your beloved, love will always find a way. They are always with you, in spirit, in your mind, within your body, and within your soul. They are always with you. I don't think I have anything more to say. If there's something that I've missed, I don't know. I think I should write a book, to be honest. I think now it's time. I'm here to help you. I'm in here to help you in service. I earn my income from the work that I do as a copywriter. I do this work to help you. If anybody wants to speak to me, I will do this for you and help you free of charge. That's my promise. That's my service. So, you can email me, you can go to my website, you can make a booking, free booking. I'll give you a consultation to give you some simple insight into how you can help yourself. I love you. I'm here for you. Namaste.